Now let's go to Walid Shoebat, who is an Arabic speaker, former member of the PLO, a man who knows an awful lot about what's going on. Walid, welcome back to the Savage Nation program.
You bet. Thank you, Michael.
Walid, things are getting very crazy right now. You know that as well as I, correct?
Correct.
Okay, they're heating up. So let's start from the top. Is Obama a Shiite or a Sunni Muslim?
Well, if you look at Obama's policies, they go sometimes against Saudi Arabia, which makes him more in line with the policies of Erdogan of Turkey. It was Erdogan of Turkey that defended Iran to keep its nuclear ability because Rouhani and Erdogan had made a deal and a pact to work together. This alliance of Shia and Sunni is not unlikely to happen between a Sufi government, which is Turkey, which is palatable to a Shiite thinking process in which the icons of the Shia are respected among the Sufis. So the Middle East right now is in a Sunni alliance in which Turkey is getting involved. In fact, it has a right to even enter into Qatar, in which it wants its own incursions into the region, as well as Iran's incursions into Yemen through the Houthis, which threatens Mecca for Saudi Arabia and threatens...
You're doing an advanced graduate course in the answer, and most people can't follow you. I'm having trouble. But we know that Hussein is the name of the martyr founder of Shia Islam. Isn't that true?
That's correct.
And Obama's parents' marriage, many say, was in line with the Shia doctrine of nikah mutah, or temporary marriage of convenience. Is that true?
I'm not aware of that exactly, whether he has Shia aspirations or not. But most likely his father was Sunni, because I look at Malik Obama and his brother and his uncle Saeed Obama and his grandmother Sarah Obama and Musa Ismail Obama, the cousin who came out on Al Jazeera. They very much were educated by the Wahhabist regime. So there is an alliance of some sort between the Obama family and the Wahhabist regime.
But why does Obama have such a vendetta against Israel now and wanting to reward the Islamo-fascist movement, part of the Israeli state? Why is he speeding that up? I mean, he leaked the secret documents on Israel. That's shocking, Walid, is it not?
Absolutely. In fact, they leaked information that the Israeli military technology is more advanced than the U.S., the hydrogen bomb technology. It is very much that shows Obama right now is acting like a Julian Assange. WikiLeaks, now we have Obama leaks through the Pentagon. And it's exactly what he is doing. And so he is basically creating divisions. If you look at the Arab Spring, what is that about? Dividing Sunni versus Shiite. You look at the home front, dividing blacks versus whites. Any way, shape, or form Obama can divide, he will do it. In fact, they funded program in Israel, 350,000 U.S. taxpayers, to go against Netanyahu election, dividing Israeli Arab versus Jew Arab. And this has been going on between Netanyahu and Obama, in which Netanyahu talked about the busloads of Arabs being, to vote, and this was going to go against Netanyahu's party, and this is what you have Obama doing. So then you have also statements coming out of the right hand of Obama saying Israel is an occupation, a 50-year occupation that must end. This doesn't sound like something that comes out of the State Department or a U.S. president. It comes out of a person who is trying to create major problems and major divides in global affairs, as well as in the home front affairs, as well as for Israel. So his revenge against Netanyahu, he called Netanyahu, not to congratulate him, by the way, he called Netanyahu so he can fire Ron Dermer, who is the United Nations ambassador for Israel. So he's lecturing Netanyahu on what to do, advancing what he had agreed before with the Palestinians. He was a very close friend and associate of Rashid Khalidi, head of the PLO. He learned from his wife, Muna, on his ideology regarding the Palestinian situation. This is in his book. It's no secret. He was friends with Edward Said, who is a scholar who you can see stoning the Israelis, and he's a scholar stoning the Israelis. What does that make any sense? So in other words, you have Obama in bed with top Islamists, top pro-PLO, when the PLO used to be a terrorist organization. It was considered a terror organization then. Yet we.
But Walid, just so people know who you are, they don't think you're a funny guy who sells falafel on 49th Street, because they can dismiss you. You were a former member of the PLO, is that correct?
That is correct, absolutely.
And you were a terrorist, and you spent time in Israeli prisons. So you have tremendous bona fides. Obviously, you're a fluent Arabic speaker and a great English speaker. I want to play for the world to listen. Bo Bergdahl's father's speech on the lawn of the White House in Arabic, and I want to ask you what it means. Guys, just play it for Walid and everyone else.
I'd like to say to Bo right now, who's having trouble speaking English, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo.
What does that mean in Arabic?
In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, I am your father, Bo. In fact, I was the first to investigate Father Bo Bergdahl.
Wait a minute, my heart just stopped. My heart just stopped. So it was a coded message, was it not?
Absolutely. In fact, there is more coded messages, which I revealed. He commented, Alhamdulillah, Amina, Amina. May Allah and the Ummah be heard. May Allah free my son. And then he says, in classical Arabic language, he types it in Arabic, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een, which is the beginning of the declaration of faith in Islam. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. It is thee, Allah, whom we worship. It is thee whom we seek refuge.
So in other words, he did this on the White House lawn, and the average American moron didn't even know he was doing it.
Of course.
So why would Obama permit this worship of Allah to appear on the lawn of the White House? I mean, the question answers the question.
Well, it seems it's something that cannot be said on the air these days, that Obama's affiliation with Islam and with Islamists is neck deep. This is why he is the Assange of the Muslim world. Obama is no secret. His family is no secret. I was the first to show the family connection to the Wahhabists and to the Muslim Brotherhood and all the agendas. And so Bergdahl is an Islamist. In fact, his links to Mufti Ismail Menk, who puts his favorites. This is terror support from the top. His links to Americans being killed in the war in Afghanistan.
Wait, I got to follow you. The father is an Islamist?
Absolutely an Islamist.
Wait, the father of this traitor, who was traded for 5 major league Taliban generals. Are you suggesting the father himself has links to these elements?
Absolutely, he has links to these elements.
Well, wait, now come on, Walid, how do we know this?
Well, take a look at my article. It is titled, I show the evidence, I show all the links. Father of soldier who Obama released declares Muslim victory call, and Obama smiles as soon as he hears the war cry of Allah. Look at the report, just put Bergdahl Shoebat, and you will see the links, you will see the tweets, you will see the comments on the YouTube videos. You could see him typing Arabic. You could see him how he learned the Arabic language. And he learned the Arabic language from jihadi websites, not from any just Arabic learning websites.
So when he appeared with the wispy beard on the lawn of the White House, and many of us who are trained to observe said, wait a minute now, this man is a Muslim, which unto itself is not a crime, but he has links to segments of the Islamic world that are questionable, and we were dismissed as this and that. Now you're confirming that in Arabic he said, let's do this again. First tell us in English what he said, please.
Well, let me go back. I have it in my article here.
You want to read it? I'll tell you what, I want the people to follow it. Should we do it in Arabic and then you tell us in English, or you want to just tell us in English or play it in Arabic again?
Well, I can tell you, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, which means, praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, this world and the underworld. And he talks about the prayer to the Ummah, which is a unification of an Islamic government under the Khilafah, the Caliphate. And then he says, Allah, free my son from captivity. Then he writes in the Arabic language, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, it is thee whom we worship. It is thee whom we seek refuge. And these comments is not just anywhere. They're comments on jihadi YouTube videos. And his link.
So the rhetoric that we heard on the White House lawn in the Rose Garden is the rhetoric that comes out of jihadi websites?
Absolutely.
Holy God. Well, let's listen to, this is now the man they're calling a hero. This is a man that Obama doubled down on and said, we're glad we released him. That's the game that they play on the left. That is how the game is played when you are caught. You double down on the big lie and you repeat it again and say no American left behind. That's after prosecuting and persecuting Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan who actually killed terrorists for doing their job a little too well. But let's put that aside. Let's listen to the released traitor's father on the Savage Nation.
I'd like to say to Bo right now, who's having trouble speaking English, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo.
Okay, wait a minute. Why is he having trouble speaking English? Why did the son have trouble speaking English, Walid?
Well, it's because he's trying to show his loyalty to Islam. Just look at Intellius and put Robert Bo Bergdahl has worked at Taliban. Hello? Taliban. There's been tweets with heads of Taliban from Father Bo Bergdahl making...
Wait, what is Polyvan?
Taliban, the Taliban.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a company, a defense contractor. I'm sorry.
Well, why would
you know, look, I have a sense of humor. Even in the midst of the darkness, if I was in a foxhole with you, I'd still be telling you a joke as they're trying to overrun our position. I can't help it because this is so bad. This is so coming to a head. Things are now, seem to me, with Israel at the center of it all. It is David versus Goliath. We have with us an Arabic speaker who has deep, deep understanding in areas we can't even go. I'll be right back on the Savage Nation. Be here or be nowhere. Some days I wake up and I feel like Moses tasked with leading my people across the Red Sea. And there's a metaphor to the Red Sea that's obvious to anyone who understands what I'm saying. I don't mean the red states. I mean the Red Sea of the Islamo-liberal complex in the U.S. We wake up and in one day we realize that Obama has declassified a document revealing Israel's nuclear program in an unprecedented move. He did it to revenge against Netanyahu. Giving it up. Covert secrets, giving it up. Now, Israel kept it quiet to avoid a regional nuclear arms race. But this psychopathic anti-Semite in the White House, if I may say so, put all of that aside in his vendetta against Israel and Netanyahu. He doesn't care if there's a regional nuclear arms race. He is fomenting a regional nuclear arms race. Saudi Arabia itself said if you let Iran get a nuke, we're going to develop one. Why does he want nukes in the Middle East? What is this lunatic trying to do? Walid Shoebat, I'm at my wit's end. Do you ask yourself these same questions every day, or do you know the answers?
Every single day. At times you know the answers, at times you don't know the answers. Because you cannot tell exactly what his alliances are at some points in time. But you can tell that he is working with nefarious characters, going back to, say, to the Bergdahl situation. I mean, why is Obama also releasing top Taliban officials? In fact, it was Bob Bergdahl's father who was in direct communication with both President Obama and one of the top 3 Taliban spokesperson, Abdul Qadir Balkhi. What's his relationship with Balkhi? A top Taliban spokesperson in which he sent him a message, and we have it. I am still working to free all Guantanamo prisoners. Allah will repay for the death of every Afghan child. Ameen. Amen.
Wait, who wrote that? Bergdahl's father?
Bergdahl's father, absolutely.
Oh, my God. It's just the hotbed of radicalism, of Islamist radicalism, according to you. Look, Walid, you know how much I respect your courage and your linguistic skills, your intellect. I could put so many different things together. I need you to help my audience understand that we're not just wackadoodle right-wing anti-Obama racists. I mean, we need to understand what we're dealing with, Walid. You face it every day. People call you names. They try to diminish you, defame you. They take distinguished people like Dr. Ben Carson, who is one of the finest minds of our time, and make him into nothing. They try to destroy Ted Cruz with a stupid thing on Obamacare. Anything they can do to discredit anyone who opposes Obama. So where does that leave us? Where is this leading to, Walid? Is Israel, in my estimation, Israel is David, Obama and the Arab world, the larger Arab world, the Islamist Arab world, are the Goliath. Can David win here?
Always will win. We always have to have hope. And we always have to know that the major superpower is God, not Iran, not Turkey, not the United States. The God's in control. Eventually, Obama will fall. But what we can tell is Obama is making divisions. Obama's associations, they always will tell you.
Walid, we have only 30 seconds. You know, we like to believe that evil eventually is exposed and evil is punished. Maybe that's just a fairy tale. He is the slickest con man I've ever seen in my life. He gets away with it day after day, surrounded. Well, I can't even go on with that statement. Walid, I pray you can stay with us a few more minutes in the turn of the hour. This is the Savage Nation. Be here or be nowhere.
Savage.
I invited on the show a guest who speaks Arabic fluently, who is extremely familiar with the literature of the enemy, because he was once a member of the enemy. So I trust him more than I do Wolf Blitzer. And I trust him more than I do the jesters who work for the Democratic administration, like Bill Maher. The government jesters, Bill Maher and the other one. No, the government jesters are not trying to educate you or enlighten you. They're trying to keep you under an anesthesia of stupidity. Walid Shoebat, welcome back. I have a question for you, Walid. What are the ties between Bo Bergdahl, Obama, and the Taliban, if any?
Well, there's major ties. Number one, his favorites, what he shows on YouTube. It reveals a very dark mind, collector of litany of terrorist favorites, videos of training, how to become Muslim jihadist.
Wait, you're losing me. Walid, whose videos?
Well, these are the favorites. If you go to Bob Bergdahl's father, the favorite videos is in Arabic as well as in English. One of them is Anwar al-Awlaki. In other words, he links to websites, to YouTube videos, urging American troops to desert.
Who, the father does? The father does?
Absolutely. I have the link.
Well, sometimes I'm shocked by my own intuitive insights, because I have said the father should be investigated from the get-go when I heard him speaking in Arabic. I understand a little bit of Arabic, and I knew there was something fishy about what he was saying. I didn't know all of it until today when you translated for me. But I thought something was odd about the whole package, and a guy called my show yesterday and said, how dare you attack the Bergdahls? They're loved by their neighbors. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, what's his communication then? Somebody has to explain to us in the White House. Why was he communicating with Khairullah? Why was the release of these terrorists? When he talks about, may Allah release all the mujahideen from Gitmo, what's he talking about? He's talking about in favor of the terrorists. And Obama then releases the terrorists. Who are they? Khairullah Khairikhawa. He's the interior minister of the Taliban regime. You have Mullah Nurullah Nouri. He was responsible for the Balkh province. In fact, the very spokesperson he was talking to was, he was the spokesperson when there was an explosion in the U.S. Embassy. He was attacked in Kabul. And so this is a man who's very much well connected with top Taliban officials, as well as he's connected with President Obama, in which he is telling the enemy, I will work on releasing Guantanamo. And you have an actual release of terrorists from Guantanamo. So the question becomes, is that American people have a right to know, what is this relationship between Bergdahl and President Obama? There's a relationship. Obviously, he comes in the White House, everybody in the world's side. Do we think he's an Islamist just because he's trimmed his mustache and elongated his beard? This comes, by the way, from Islam. Which means grow the beard and trim the mustache. Father has the same thing as the son. The son has been found guilty for basically abandoning his position. Treason from the top. As I said to you, we have a Julian Assange in the White House named Barack Hussein Obama.
Why are so many people protective of him when he is only a man? And as you said earlier, all of the power of the world comes from God, not from man. I agree with you. Why is it that there's such a protection of a man who is so grossly incompetent and suspicious? Why did they rally around him? What is this about? Why is there such loyalty to this man, Walid?
Well, it is a war that me and you both are familiar with. It is a war not just against us, against Judeo-Christian ethics itself in America. That's the war of the liberal. That's the war of Jimmy Carter. This is why even Jimmy Carter looked the other way when the Shah Pahlavi was asking for help from the U.S., which started the first Islamic revolution in Iran.
Yes. Oh, I know Jimmy Carter was is the reason that Khomeini came back from exile in London and started this cancer. I know that. And I've had Iranians stop me in the street and say, how do you even know that? You don't even speak Farsi. I said, you don't have to speak Farsi to know the truth.
But then Obama continues the war in the Arab Spring. He continues the war when he goes to Egypt. Despite knowing that the Muslim Brotherhood is a terror entity, he insists that the Muslim Brotherhood be present, which gives the credence to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, which began the fiasco in the entire Middle East, which began a revolution in Tunisia. Who knows Zayn al-Abidin in America? Do you know, does any of the audience can even think of Zayn al-Abidin? What did he do in Tunisia? And how is Hosni Mubarak an enemy of the United States when he was an ally, thrown under the bus? And why are we alienating al-Sisi? Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he wants to work with the U.S. Even you have Bashar al-Assad who wants to work with the U.S. The Judeo-Christian culture is protected under those entities. Those are superpowers in the region that will work with the U.S., that will work to fight Islamofascism. Yet we partnered as a country with Turkey, who's interested in consuming other countries, with Iran, whose only interest is to consume other countries, which is doing right now in Yemen. And we are alienating the countries who are trying not to be consumed, like Egypt, like Syria. Why would we abandon those countries? Why would we abandon Arab nationalism? Nationalism was what Sykes-Picot introduced. And Obama wants to reverse Sykes-Picot. Erdogan wants to reverse Sykes-Picot. And ISIS wants to reverse Sykes-Picot.
In other words, they want to reverse nationalism and go back to Islamism, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to this unknown senator from Illinois. What is the symbol or campaign logo of the Obama administration when he was running? What are these Obama bumper stickers? Let's see. A blue crescent over fallen red and white stripes. But Walid, what is the crescent? Is that not the symbol of Islam?
Absolutely. It's a symbol
okay.
of ultimate.
And the blue stripe over the red stripe represents the states that vote Democratic, red over the states that vote Republican, blue. And so he now unites them under the banner of Islam. Let's put that cartoon aside. What motivates Barack Hussein Obama? Well, we know that he wants to diminish or to weaken or outright dissemble the state of Israel. He seems, and correct me if I'm mistaken, to be promoting Shia Islam over Sunni Islam. Is that correct?
That is correct. At the moment, yes. That's what he's doing exactly. The U.S. forces are working with the Iranian forces. The Iranian forces, what do they have? 30,000 troops from Iran, Asa'ib al-Ahrar and Soleimani. These are agents of the Iranian government. They are from Iran, trained by Iran, and they are occupying currently Iraq, which now we're very...
Right. And they're using our Air Force under our Commander-in-Chief to act as their Hessian Air Force. Okay. So Obama wants to promote Shia Islam and see a new Persia arise. Does he want to subordinate the West for the spread of Islam? I think people would argue yes. Does he politically support a grotesque socialist system where the rich get richer and the middle class diminishes and the poor increase in size by bringing in tens of thousands of illegal aliens? All of that fits together if you actually see it from the point of view of a madness that is hard for the average person to fathom.
Yes, sharing the wealth. You know, sharing the wealth comes from an Islamic concept. When Muhammad, his people went from Mecca to Medina, and in Medina it was al-Muhajirun, the immigrants, and the Ansar, the associates of the immigrants, who began to share the wealth. This is why countries like Libya and Egypt had sharing the wealth. When Obama says the term share the wealth, it comes right from the heart of Islam itself.
Well, that's a very good thing, to share the wealth, unless you're the president and you abuse the wealth by flying to California on Air Force One to go on a morons television show the same day the First Lady flies on another jet to go on another moronic television show. That's a good way to share the wealth, isn't it? Walid, how about that one? How about the disparity between his rhetoric and his actions?
Well, this has always been the liberals' actions. They care about the environment, yet they drive big SUVs. They talk about sharing the wealth, but they want to share my wealth and your wealth. Whatever you have, they want to share it with whoever votes for them. And this is why they destroy the whole election system, in which now you want more money, you better vote for me. We want to basically legalize all the illegal immigrants in this country, to flood this country and change its demography completely, inside out and forever. This is why Obama is doing his policy. He's creating...
Wally, do you know that 50% of all the school children in Boston, Massachusetts have a parent who is foreign-born and do not speak English? 50% of the school children in Boston, Massachusetts do not speak English and have a parent born overseas. This nation cannot survive this. It's impossible for the nation to exist.
Absolutely. In fact, there's more than that. Now, schools have to have sharing with Eid al-Adha. Every child in some of these schools, I've made 2 reports in the issue.
All right. Well, look, there's too much information for the average person to absorb, let alone to say, I can't listen to this anymore. They're going to get frightened. Walid, when I come back, please be with me. You know who I have at the bottom of the hour? A woman I'm sure you respect, Ayan Hirsi Ali.
Yes.
Who asks for the reformation of Islam. You know who she is, correct?
Yes, of course.
Amazing to me how all of this is on the same day that we read Obama secretly released all of the secrets of Israel's nuclear enterprises. It's frightening what's going on, but it seems to be coming to a head. When I come back, I want to ask you the simple biblical question and the pragmatic question, the pragmatic political question, which is, do you think that Israel can save the world from Obama and the Islamist regimes? I'll be right back. Walid Shoebat, welcome back. In the concluding moments of this incredible time with you together, and I hope you rejoin us in the very near future, you were a Muslim and a member of the PLO organization. Did you convert to Christianity, I believe?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you believe biblically that Israel can survive?
Absolutely. In fact, Obama's doing is trying to divide and to create the focus on Israel. This is why he wants to establish a Palestinian state, to focus on Jerusalem. Right now, if you ask an ISIS terrorist, why he's hated by the Muslim world, is because he's not focused on Jerusalem. Iran, Shia-Sunni divide will end the moment that Obama succeeds in making the Muslim world focus on the issue of Jerusalem. This will unite both Shia and Sunni, will unite Iran and Turkey and all the other Islamic states into an invasion in Israel. In fact, my conversion started when I read Zechariah, the prophet. I will make Jerusalem a trembling cup to all surrounding nations. Then you will see Israel unleashing its hydrogen bombs. Let the world know what Israel have. That's fine. But what the world will see, what Israel will do, when it is threatened, when you threaten Israel to the point of giving up Jerusalem, that's where the buck ends. That's where Israel will revive and will rise as a power to show the nations. It will unsheath its strength. It will unleash hell on these Islamic powers, and the world will see the true power of Israel. And then the whole world will begin to realize that God is in control.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless, Walid. That was so eloquent. It was so beautiful. I pray to God, or as they say in a simplistic manner, from your mouth to God's ear, to God's ears, rather. I hope he has 2 ears or more than 2. Walid, are there any closing words in the last minute of this incredible time you've had today on the Savage Nation radio program?
I know that not everybody believes what I believe and what you believe, that there is a God. Either we can all agree that Zechariah and the prophets of the Bible, either they are perfect guessers of the history and the scenario, or there's a God.
Then why, if there is a God, did he permit this deceiver to arrive in the White House and do so much damage to America and the world? Why would God permit this?
Of course he'll permit this, because God will appoint the leaders in accordance to the hearts of the people. It used to be a culture and a custom in America in which you know about the government, you know about the history, you know from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli why we created the Navy, why Jefferson bought a Quran. It's not for politicians to swear on top of the Quran as their allegiance to Islam. It is because we wanted to learn the mindset of our enemy. We don't burn Qurans in this country. We learn from our mindset of the enemies. And this is why it's crucial to have the Captain Spock and the Captain Kirk. Spock being an alien but came out of alienism.
Oh, man. You and I could go on for hours here. Walid, Walid Shoebat, Shoebat.com, Shoebat.com. Go there and see what Bergdahl's father has said. Go there and see what Walid believes is the link between Bergdahl, Obama, and the Taliban. When I come back, the bravest woman in the world on the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.